What if you invented a person that was uniquely you? What if you invented a person that was uniquely you? What would that person look like? What would that person talk like? What would that person behave like? What would that person value? What would that person's behaviors be? What would their rules be? What kind of policies would they have for their own life? What kind of processes would they execute within their life to continue being who they are? What would they think like? What if you invented a person that was uniquely you? And just because we want to think about it, do you know who you are now? What if you knew who you were and that person was the person that you wanted to be? I think about it probably more than I should, but I think about it enough. Like, you go through your youth and you're spending a lot of time trying to fit in with other people. At least I know I did. And you make some mistakes because of that, because you're trying to be what other people think that you should be. Not quite sure who you are. You're not sure-footed in the world. You encounter stumbling blocks and stub your toe, trip over things, and you get back up. And if you're persistent, you try to keep moving forward. You try to keep moving towards something. Unfortunately, most of us know that there are periods where we're not sure which direction to run in, which direction to go in, how we should be comporting and composing ourselves to get from point A to point B. A lot of times we don't even know what point B is. Like, we just know that, hey, I got to get up and I have to move, and we're moving towards something. We don't know what it is. We're always moving towards something, and that leaves us a bit lost. When you stop and you think about it, when you stop and you think about yourself, when you stop and you consider your being, how would you be different if you were the person that you wanted to be? And you might find yourself in a position where you have to ask yourself a question like, I don't know who I want to be. Like, I'm driving down the road here and I thought I was driving down the easy road, and I get down to a point where it's a dead end. There's barricades across the road. Waters rose and they shut the road down. So I have to change direction. That changes a bit. That changes my direction, changes my path. But we have all kinds of things like that happen in our life normally. Like things that pop up, things we're unaware of, that we discover later on that require us to change our path. Does that require us to change who we are? Maybe. If who you are is going to prevent you from changing direction when you have to, then it's only in your best interest to make some changes. Like, if you can spend a little bit of time each day dedicated to understanding yourself, dedicated to evaluating how close you are to the person that you want to be, you have a pretty good chance of finding out some really important things about how you're currently pursuing your own life. And you might even find out that that you're not actually pursuing the things that are actually important to you. There's a lot to be said for spending time contemplating who you are, and there's a lot of value that can come out of that. There's also a trap, though. There's the trap of narcissism, where you you spend all your time contemplating who you are and all your time considering yourself, and you know, kind of falling in love with who you are, with where you're at, or falling in love with some sort of you know, some inaccurate view of your present capability. And I think with narcissism, frequently there comes a complacency and a willingness to stop improving, because you know, you're looking at yourself, and let's say a narcissistic, for the sake of this conversation, is a person that thinks that they are great. You know, like, not quite delusions of grandeur, but someone just looks at themselves and say, I'm all right, like I'm what I need to be, like I've got this. You run the risk of becoming complacent, you know, of not pursuing your higher self. You run the risk of missing a great opportunity to hold an image in your mind of the person that you can be, and then working towards being a person that's better than the person that you currently are. With a bit of humility, if a person takes a good look at themselves, I believe that most people will find that who they are falls short of who they want to be. And with a bit of humility again, coupled with some motivation to change, I believe that most people can, in a very short matter of time, become something far better than what they are. At least in their own eyes. And sometimes other people see it too. And sometimes other people see it too. However, you don't have to sit there and wait for other people to recognize your greatness. You don't have to run around even thinking that you're great. But you can spend some time and be honest with yourself and find ways to make small improvements that allow you to sculpt out the life that you want to live without compromising your integrity and without increasing your suffering for reasons that will not improve your prosperity. And that's that.